Good morning to one and all present here. Myself, Mrs. Saranya, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Applications. On behalf of Computer Applications Department, I welcome you all to the current Trends in Cybersecurity webinar. If the sign on your oath says welcome, the love will come pouring in from everywhere. Followed by the quotes, I would like to invite Mr. Saravanan, head of the department, to address the gathering. Please, sir.
Very warm greetings to all the participants and the audience here for this webinar. Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to our chief guest, Dr. Neha Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Chitkara University, Rajpura, Punjab. Requested management, below directed, energetic principal, faculty members, PRO, and my dear students. I am more than grateful to be here and welcoming you to this webinar, Current Trends in Cybersecurity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Successful leaders see the opportunities in every difficulty rather than the difficulty in every opportunity. With this sentence, I'm going to introduce our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Neha Sharma. Dr. Neha Sharma, working as Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Engineering Department in Chitkara University, Rajpura. She has received the MTech CSC PhD Computer Science degree in the area of computer science with vast teaching experience of 11 years in reputed organization. She has more than 15 international publications in the reputed peer-reviewed journals, including IEEE Explore, Scopus, and SCI Indexed. Her main area of research in the image processing, machine learning, deep learning, cybersecurity. She also published several national and international patents under the intellectual property rights of government of India and abroad. She is actively associated in NAC preparations at universities interface. She is associated in many highly impact society membership like IEEE, ACM, ISTE.
A very good
The
morning
content
to
of the content of a book holds the power of education, and it is with this power that we can shape our future and change live. With this quote, I feel privileged to invite our honorable chief guest to explain about the session. Please, ma'am.
a very good morning to everyone present here. First of all, I would like to thank Sri Chandraprabhu Jan College for inviting me as a speaker for this webinar series. My extended thanks to Dr. Sarvanan and Dr. V. Nagajoti for providing me such an opportunity. Uh, and thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. Okay, I'll just share my screen. My today's topic is current trends in cybersecurity. Now, cybersecurity, it is constantly changing. while it is not a new field, right? New businesses, softwares, devices, they're demanding new levels of data protection, and in some cases, completely new approaches, right? So last year, one of the worst times. It was one of the worst times for cybersecurity with with this accelerated digitization. Many of the companies, they have undergone various numerous they have undergone various attacks, and these are forecasts for 2023 to 2025. They're also not so good. There are around 281 million people that have been affected by data breach in 2022, right? However, there are different cybercrime companies that have costed them $1.8 million per minute, right? Rather than just worrying about these cybercrime pictures. So with this, I would just start up with the different types of cyber attacks which are being experienced by the companies. So phishing being the most popular, which is growing at a very high rate, and most of us, we are really unaware of how this phishing attack actually executes. Then comes network intrusion, followed by inadvertent disclosures, stolen or lost device records, and then system misconfigurations. So these are the percentage with which the cyber attacks, they are experienced by different companies. Common global fraud types are again phishing, brand abuse, Trojan horses, rogue mobile apps. This slide presents the volume of cybersecurity incidents which are being faced by the different sectors. So here, we can just see that financial services, it has been affected by the cyber attacks was 27%, and ICT it is 18%, followed by manufacturing, retail, and professional services. Common cyber attacks that are experienced by the different Indian companies is again the phishing on the top, right? In network intrusion, inadvertent disclosure, stolen and lost devices, and system misconfiguration. These cyber attacks, they are they are just growing at a very fast rate on a global scale. Financial losses from these crimes, they have exceeded the total losses which being incurred from your the different illegal drugs, right? So now it comes as no surprise that individuals and organizations, they are living in a fear of potential hacking scenarios and data breaches, right? Apart from the different financial losses, there are certain form of cyber attacks which can also lead to their damage into the reputation as well. Customer data, if it is compromised, the uh, it can lead to the reputation of the business. Am I audible, sir? Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am, you're audible. You may continue with your session.
Okay, so I'll just okay. So these are the most common cyber attacks, which are growing at a very fast rate on a global scale, right? Financial losses are not the only one form, one form of cyber attacks. However, it is targeting small businesses, which leads to the loss of reputation as well, right? Now, customer data, if in case it is being compromised, it can lead to the straight away the reputation of the businesses which adhere to strict regulations and the costly settlements. Now, half of these cyber attacks, they are targeting only small businesses, which usually they do not protect themselves from such kind of threats, like phishing threat is there, Trojan horses are there, right? So, a survey was done. Based on that particular survey, most common type of cyber attack uh, which is being experienced by Indian companies are phishing attacks, network intrusion, inadvertent disclosures, stolen or lost devices, and system misconfigurations. Companies, they are they're just actively spending their IT budget on the on the kind of any type of security which is available, right? So we can also see there is an exponential advancements into the technology. Now, as the cybersecurity has evolved, uh, it matures its ability to take down the cyber threats and attacks, right? So now, into the coming slides, I'll just put forward the latest trends into the cybersecurity and how they are affecting the businesses and other organizations. User awareness, now user training is essential, right? As the cyber threats, they are they are increasing every day. All the businesses and the organizations, they really need to come forward and take certain major steps to strengthen their security measures, right? Now, cyber security awareness, it is an essential, and it actually it is an essential step, and it prevents the costly identity theft or the network hack, which can actually destroy the company's reputation or the individual's reputation. Now, companies do implement firewalls. They have sophisticated IT protocols. They deem to augment themselves, for their IT personals via seminars. And so, apart from this, still 80% of data breaches, they can be prevented by imparting the cyber education to all the employees of the organization. Now, what drives the cybersecurity awareness? It is that the people of the the personnel of the organizations, they are actually unaware of most of the cyber attack methods. Now, cybersecurity awareness, it actually helps in preventing the threats and the attacks, right? uh, Companies, they are creating their different policies, which actually focuses on how employees handle and they share their confidential corporate data. So I would say that, around 90%, not 90, it would be around 97% of the people in the world, they are unable to identify the phishing emails or the phishing attacks. I would like to share you know, one scenario with me. One of my friend, she became the she became the victim of this phishing attack. Now phishing attack is also categorized into many categories, like it is phishing through email, it is phishing through voice. So she became the victim of uh, attack which is known as wishing, that is phishing through voice. So she just received a call wherein she was told that she would be given certain amount. She has uh, the caller has to pay her certain amount of money, and she was asked to do this onto the Paytm device. However, just in that particular scenario, she just became the victim and she lost her 20 to 25,000 in that particular call of just 5 to 10 minutes. So these phishing attacks, they are actually uh, most pervasive security threats to the IT sector. Now, many of the people, they are falling victim to these kind of phishing attacks. The cyber criminals, they are using more advanced techniques to create the well executed business email compromise attacks. We call it VECs. Phishing emails, there are malicious URLs which are prevalent and which will remain prevalent onto the web, except that they are highly localized, more geo targeted, and more personalized, right? So now, as per the survey which was done in the year 2021 data breaches investigation report, it reported that 32% of the data breaches involved phishing activities. Now these experts, they just targeted phishing to become more prevalent in the coming years as well, right? Phishing attacks, they are highly localized, they are more geo targeted, and they are more personalized. 32% of data breaches involved phishing activities. Attacks on healthcare sector, these kind of attacks, they led to the health organizations invest more onto the cyber security. Data breaches, it leads to, if I talk about from the year 2015 to 2019, there was approximately 157 million of the healthcare records that were exposed, right? So according to IBM, the data breaches like this into the healthcare sector, right, it can cost the organization around $7 million uh, to combat with the attacks which are actually executing over to the healthcare sector. So as a result, what the healthcare sector has done, they have these organizations, they are paying more considerable growth for cybersecurity market into the healthcare sector. However, in the middle of this, COVID outbreak, some health organizations, they temporarily relaxed their firewall rules, and they made it easier for the staff to work from home. But again, these figures which I've just mentioned, that I mean, like healthcare sectors, they have been they've actually paid around $7 million. These figures show that these cyber attacks in the healthcare sector are they are becoming more and more prevalent. These data breaches, they are continuing to be a threat to the health organization, as the sensitive information about the businesses, about the employees, about the patients, it always remains onto the top of the target of the cyber criminals. Cyber attacks, they will remain a challenge for those into the healthcare sectors, and the different cybersecurity market threats, they are actually projected to the value of around $125 billion in the year 2025. uh, then is the role of artificial intelligence in security. In the cyber security, AI is growing and it has become more proactive. So with machine learning, cybersecurity, it has become more simpler, more effective, and at the same time, it's getting less expensive as well, right? So from a huge amount of data set, the machine learning develops the different patterns and it manipulates them with the existing algorithms, right? So this way it can anticipate and it can respond to the different types of attacks that are active in the real time. AI, it heavily relies on the data sets that produce the effective algorithms. Data actually, it comes from everywhere, which represents many potential scenarios. Now implementing these machine learning, deep learning algorithms, it allows cybersecurity to analyze the threat patterns, to uh, to analyze the cyber criminals behaviors, which helps in preventing the similar attacks in futures also, and it helps in reducing the amount of time which is needed for cybersecurity experts to perform the routine tasks. Then is cloud security. Now, with the help of best cloud management softwares that we have these days, right? These solutions now, more and more organizations, they are actually migrating to the cloud. However, these cloud services, they do not offer any secure encryption, authentication, or audit logging, right? Some cloud services, they actually fail to isolate the user data from from other tenants to share the space into the cloud. Now IT security professionals, they just need to uh, to tighten the security over the cloud, right? Now there are poor configurations for cloud securities. If in case there are poor configurations of the cloud securities, it can lead to the criminals bypass their internal policies, and which will further help in help the cyber criminals to steal the sensitive information which is present there into the cloud database, right? So now according to the security in the cloud, as it is progressing into the predictive and innovative security, it helps in combating with the cyber attacks. Now predictive security, it's in another major area, right, which is actually becoming useful for identifying the different kinds of threats before the attackers begin their move. The predictive security, it actually identifies them, right? So it can, in a simpler way, I would say that it can pinpoint the attack that passes through the other endpoint of the security, right? Now, yeah, there are before I could just tell you about the top IT security softwares, there are certain businesses which actually use the different kind of multi-factor authentications, right? uh, Now, okay. Then is the top IT security software. The first one is Spiceworks Security. This is a reliable IT management solution which actually helps, or it enables the IT professionals to monitor the status of their network and all devices which are connected to that particular network. Next is Manage Engine Firewall Analyzer. Now, this is an all-in-one configuration management log analytics software. It helps in monitoring the firewall policies and it understands their internet security better, right? Then is WebRoot Secure Anywhere. This is the innovative endpoint security software which is actually built to help businesses to recognize the malwares or other forms of cyber attacks, cyber threats. Then is Bitdefender. It is a solution which is designed for businesses as well as for individuals to protect their devices from any kind of digital threats. Then is your AVG antivirus. With this, we all are very familiar. It is a powerful antivirus software which is which is designed to guard the organization against all forms of advanced cyber threats. Right. Then is GDPR compliance. GDPR is General Data Protection Regulation. It is actually one of the significant development of developments into the data privacy, right? But there are certain laws which it actually needs to comply based upon their location, right? Now GDPR, it is having an im- immense impact onto the global data protection requirements. It imposes the consistent security laws on all the European nations. So it actually eliminates the need for each member state, and it writes the data protection laws, right? It not only protects the European citizens, these laws, they actually affects all the business organizations that targets the European market. This particular chart which is being shown into the slide, it actually tells how GDPR is affecting the email list among the different brands which is partially or fully compliant with the laws. So with this, as it is quite evident, we can see businesses, they're targeting the European market, and there is a feeling for the impact onto the GDPR. And about 50% of the businesses believe that they are already GDPR compliant by the end of 2022, right? Okay. Then is the threats to higher education. uh, you know Cybersecurity, it is among the top priorities, not only onto the businesses, organizations, healthcare, but also onto the higher education sector, right? uh, Especially after this the coronavirus outbreak, when there has been a deep rise onto the online learning, remote work, into the to allow their employees to work remotely. So these cybersecurity trends in higher education, it actually involves the compromised student data. uh, in this the previous year, 2020, in US, right, three private universities, they fell as a victim to a cyber attack which involved hacking of student admission data, right? So this actually led to the attention of those higher education sectors which promote the tighter security for the protection of the student, faculty, and research data into the institutions. Fortunately, the number of cyber attacks which are targeting higher education, they are growing, and institutions are also, they are moving towards a new cybersecurity architecture which includes the uh, security, which includes the post perimeter security onto the endpoint protections and the identity information. Out of 17 industries in the US, right, the higher education sector, it comes in last when it comes to cybersecurity. Okay, then is the vulnerabilities of IoT. Now, security issues, they will keep on growing as the IoT devices are dominating the market today, right? Now, all your computing devices, they are embedded into the IoT products, which allow us to send and receive the data over the internet. Now this actually, this poses a significant security threat to the users, which expose them to the different kinds of cyber attacks like denial of services, home intrusions, etc. Right. So, the most IoT devices, they're used into the healthcare industries, and it is targeting 14.5% of the industries which are listed here to the healthcare sector. These IoT devices, they are actually, presenting a vast opportunities for businesses and cyber criminals both to grow, right? So despite of these threats which are growing day by day, there's a market analysis which indicates that the organizations are still on their way to invest more and more into the in preventing these cyber attacks. So these IoT devices, which are existing today, right, they are actually prone to many cyber attacks, many cyber issues. So, it actually, if I talk about infected routers, they account for around 75% of all the IoT attacks, that might have occurred in the year 1920, 2019, 2020. Okay. Uh, then is mobile devices. Not forgetting this major important component. Now, everyone these days, everyone is using a smart mobile device. So, 66% of the world population, to be specific, is using smart devices, smart mobile phones. So, it is these devices, they are actually becoming a great channel of opportunity for the cyber criminals to, to continue to use to continue floating their different kinds of cyber attacks through mobile devices. Now these devices, they are becoming the targets. So, you know about 70% of fraud transactions have occurred only through these mobile devices, as it's mentioned into the slide as well. Beyond awareness, I would say that we really need to rethink about the security technology stack that's present to, address these sophisticated new threats. We need to push the different cybersecurity decisions to the different business units and improve our security postures. We need to evolve and reframe the security practice in order to manage the cyber risks better. uh, this last graph, it shows that, the IoT, it actually, it's creating new cyber threats. There's a sharp increase in the development of these new technologies and devices, which is the biggest reason for the rise in these cyber attacks over the last decades. IoT, it refers to the billions of physical devices around the globe which collect and share the data via email, via the internet, right? So, it is predicted that by 2025, IoT devices will remain connected, and around 41 billion users are going to use these IoT devices, and thus they will be, you know, more prevalent to the different kinds of attacks which are actually present. Most commonly is phishing and the use of these IoT devices, right? Now, what is held in the future is actually, it's not known. No one exactly knows what future holds for cybersecurity. And there are many sectors which are figuring out how they can secure their network in the middle of this chaos and uncertainties, right? So, these latest trends, which I've just now discussed, they provide the insights that what we can expect in the years to come, right? uh, what is clear is that, the IT security software developers and administrators, they're going to be busy. They're going to be very busy and in coming years, right? So the popular e-commerce platforms, they'll be easy for the businesses to establish their shops online. However, again, they will be exposed to many security threats, right? Attacks like phishing, malware, data breaches, they are not going to end very soon, right? So it is, it actually gets very harder to keep these cyber criminals down. Now, when it happens, they usually, display resilience using a more advanced type of attacks, right? So with with these organizations who are establishing their operations into the cyberspace onto the cloud, right? So a tight security system is not just the only options, right? So it must have, uh, if you want to ensure a full protection of your company and a customer, you should identify the critical attack areas and anticipate the different possible attack scenarios, which can help in avoiding, to become a victim of such an attacks. Okay, these are the different top TCP ports which are being targeted. Uh, the top one is your telnet port, and then is 445 smb, ssh, mysql, and so on. These the trends which I've just discussed, right? These trends may alarm many organizations, but they also provide the insights into what we can expect in coming years. uh, More than $100 million is, it's predicted to be spent on protecting the organizations alone, right? However, this particular amount is never seen before. So, it actually makes it very clear that security software developers and administrators, they'll hand their they'll have their hands of full over in coming few years, coming next years. Yeah, thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, ma'am, for your clear presentation about cyber security. It was really nice, and we learned many new things from your presentation. Thank you, ma'am. Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. Followed by these lines, I invite Mrs. Tirunallai, Assistant Professor of Computer Application Department, to express the gratitude. Please, ma'am.
Good afternoon to one and all present virtually. On behalf of SAP Jain College, I am Tirunallai Assistant Professor, Department of BCA, take this wonderful opportunity to thank our Honorable Chief Guest Dr. Neha Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Chitkara University, Rajpura, Punjab, for spending her valuable time with us in spite of her busy schedule. Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable guidance of current trends in cyber security. Thank you, ma'am. I thank our secretary, principal, director for encouraging us to undertake the responsibility. My sincere thanks to my HOD, Mr. P. Saravanan, who is pillar of this event. I extend my heartfelt thanks to all the HODs from various departments, faculty members, Public Relation Officer Mr. Balaji and team for ever supporting. My heartfelt thanks to all the participants from various colleges and my loving students to make this event a grand success. Once again, I thank one and all. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Let's conclude our session. Thank you all for attending the session.